I'm Christian Corley, you're watching Make Use Of Reviews, and this is a portable PC styled as a handheld game console. It's called the GPD Win 4. It is an obvious competitor to the Steam Deck and comes with a couple of enhancements over what has become regarded as the primary device in a growing marketplace, that of the portable handheld PC. But does this console serve as a genuine alternative, or is the GPD Win 4 just an expensive PSP tribute act? Shipping with just a USB Type-C power cable, adapter, wrist cord and a screen protector, the GPD Win 4 is pre-installed with Windows 11. This means you'll need to spend a good 30 minutes configuring it before you can even think about installing some games, never mind playing them. Casting my mind back to the Steam Deck and when I first unpacked that and set it up, I suspect that setup time was about half what it is with the GPD Win 4, although I already had a Steam account, so mileage may vary here, of course. Now, you could eschew Windows 11 entirely, a course of action I would heartily endorse, and then install Linux or just go all in with Steam OS on the GPD Win 4. In fact, you could then call it the GPD Steam 4, maybe. The console features an AMD Ryzen 7 6800U with AMD Radeon 680M graphics, 16 GB of RAM and a 1TB M2 SSD. That's all in here. Those are pretty impressive specs, giving the GPD Win 4 a definite advantage over the Steam Deck. And if you run out of storage, there's a TF slot here for micro SD cards. Now sadly, the display is not on par size-wise. This console sports a 6-inch IPS display with 1080p resolution and a maximum 60Hz refresh rate. But this screen has a secret. It slides up to reveal a QWERTY keyboard. I mean, it's worth getting excited about just for the early Pocket PC or Windows Mobile vibe. Well, it is for me. But to be honest, the keyboard doesn't really add much to gameplay. It makes registering for Bethesda or EA easier, I suppose, but, well, you're unlikely to message with it, even less likely to compose an email or write an article. The console has a toggle on the side to switch between mouse and gamepad modes. The optical thumb pad on the right is a mouse substitute, while the circle on the left is a thumbprint reader, so it's rarely used. Now, with the mouse mode, it is possible to play mouse and keyboard games, but, well, you know, would you want to? I mean, we're talking about strategies and sims, that sort of thing, rather than first-person shooters, which you can use a controller for. The display is way too small for strategy games. Even the Steam Deck's display is a bit on the tiny side for these types of games, and that's despite a working zoom feature. That's a Steam feature that will work regardless of device. It works here, but only to an extent. Now, over the past few weeks, I've played a number of titles on this thing. First of all, I installed Zool Redimensioned and the 2016 Doom game. Since then, Doom Eternal's on here, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order from 2018, a quirky Kickstarter I backed called Beyond the Long Night, which I recommend, and Old World, a Civilization-like strategy game. Now, I've had no problem with performance from any of these titles. It's been a perfect experience, performance and gaming wise. Elsewhere, the console has been used for accessing the internet, syncing game footage to OneDrive for use in this review, and more. It looks like a games console that you take everywhere, but experiencing it as a standard computer, you have a standard Windows 11 experience. That means you have to put up with Windows 11, but it's overall a surprisingly satisfactory experience under those circumstances. I wouldn't say I want to use my Steam Deck like a PC, and should I have to, it's reasonably easy to switch modes, but with the GPD Win 4 there is no mode to switch, as you're already in Windows the entire time. Audio from this machine isn't great through the tiny and tinny onboard speakers, but that changes with a headset plugged in. Bluetooth and cable both sound great, and when you're playing games on the GPD Win 4, the controller setup is similar to your usual game controller, so it's seamless, just straight in. The whole device is just easy to start using, and although it lacks a case, which will limit its portability at first, expansion options are good. You can plug in a USB Type-C hub up here for HDMI and networking, and the device supports Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth 5.2. It measures 220 by 92 by 28 millimeters and has heavy Sony PlayStation Portable vibes, but it has a modern twist. Programmable RGBs are mounted beneath these translucent shoulder buttons. By default, they cycle through the usual rainbow palette, although this can be programmed. It's a touch cheesy for my liking, but the effect is striking enough, even if it doesn't immediately impact the atmosphere of your gaming. Now, it's fair to say that on the face of things, this handheld PC plays AAA titles with a responsive console controller styled thumbsticks and buttons. It feels great, and with Windows 11 pre-installed, you can play pretty much everything on Steam, Epic, cloud services like Nvidia's GeForce Go, and even PC Game Pass. There's also the prospect of emulators for retro games. Not that we would advocate anything like that. But this is a heavy console. It's roughly the same weight as a Steam Deck, but this weight isn't as well distributed. It also doesn't have as large a display, and its bulky, slightly sharp exterior leads me to like it less. After all, the Steam Deck is really comfortable to use. Now, you might say, well, use an Xbox controller, and that's a good argument, but it's one that actually reinforces my point, not yours. You see, Xbox controllers are really comfortable, and you can spend hours playing a game without cramping, without any discomfort on an Xbox controller, just like the Steam Deck, and completely unlike the GPD Win 4. Throw in those hard-to-reach rear buttons, an easy-to-catch mouse to controller mode switch, and ergonomics really becomes an issue with this device. Hardware-wise, the GPD Win 4 is a realistic Steam Deck killer, and battery life aside, delivers portable PC and console level gaming. Comfort-wise, however, it only delivers hand cramps. Subscribe to the Make Use Of YouTube channel for more reviews like this, plus tips, tricks, and some giveaways.